Welcome back to yet another discussion on some of the most important history topics that could find their way to your 2024 prelims examination. This video discusses a crucial topic related to an issue about the appointment of temple priests in Tamil Nadu. First, let us divulge the reason behind the issue on hand by looking at the headlines. So here's the headlines. Supreme Court refused to vacate order on temple priests in Tamil Nadu. The order was passed on the basis of a series of petitions alleging that the Tamil Nadu government was attempting to appoint non-believers as archakas. This is the headlines. So I shall take this moment to explain to you what this issue is all about. So if you see, there was a plea which argues that the state government in Tamil Nadu tried to disrupt the traditional system of appointing archakas in Agama temples, which is based on hereditary schemes. Okay, so the thing was, government wanted to allow priests from different denominations who had completed a 1-year certificate course to be eligible for appointment as archakas. So the plea contended that this interference contradicted the rulings made by the Supreme Court and the Madras High Court priorly. So the plea also emphasized that expertise in Agamas is not acquired through 1-year certificate course but through rigorous training under experienced gurus. Okay, they said that just by doing this 1-year certificate course, people cannot become experts with regard to the Agamas. Okay, so it had taken them generations to master this art of Agamas. Okay, so this player also points out that prominent Shaivite and Vaishnavite temples in Tamil Nadu were built according to the Agamas, and the worship is conducted based on Agamic principles. So the argument suggests that maintaining the hereditary scheme of appointing archakas ensure that individuals with proper knowledge and training in Agama traditions continue to perform religious rites, rituals and worship. Okay, so this is the whole idea, this is the backdrop. So I think it will be prudent of me to explain the other concepts relating to the issue. First, we have to see who the archakas are. Okay, who are these archakas? So if you see, archakas refer to first of all archana. We'll see, look at what archana is. Archana refers to the act of worship, while an archaka is the worshipper who performs the rituals and worships an archa. Archa is nothing but an image of God. Okay, so archana refers to the act of worship. Archaka is the worshipper who performs the rituals and worships an archa. Archa is the image of God. Okay, so I can just explain this particular point by showing you this picture. So this is the archa. Okay, the image of God, archa. What they are performing is archana. And who are these people on the screen? They are archakas. Okay, so archakas receive dikshay or samskara, which is initiation or consecration from their guru or acharya, who is often their own fathers. Okay, so this initiation usually takes place at a very young age, between 5 and 7 years. Okay, so after receiving initiation, archakas undergo rigorous Vedic education for minimum period of 3 years. So this education includes learning sacred texts and rituals. So once this Vedic education is completed, the archakas get further training in performing pujas. Pujas are nothing but ritualistic worship. And they are also trained to become masters with regard to homams. Homams are fire rituals. Okay, so getting training in pujas and homams takes another additional 3 to 5 years. Okay, so if you see, in traditional Vaishnavism, an archa is considered a living incarnation of God in the form of an image. The material used to create the archa can vary. Okay, it can be stone, it can be wood, clay, gemstones, gold, silver, alloy or bronze. Okay, so regardless of the material, the archa is treated as an embodiment of God. Okay, and in Vaishnavism again, an archaka is seen as Hari themselves. Hari means the God themselves. Okay, so without any doubt, the people who do the archana in the Vaishnavite traditions are regarded God themselves. Similarly, in Saivism, you know what Saivism is? It's nothing but worship of Lord Shiva. A similar belief is held. Okay, so archakas hold great importance in society as they are responsible for properly worshipping the deities in accordance with the scriptural guidelines. Okay, so that's the importance of the archakas. Now let us now look at what the agamas and tantras are. Okay, first if you see, we look at the ways worship is done in Hinduism. For example, in Vaishnava temples, the assistance of a priest is usually required to worship the deities. In Saiva temples, worship can be done either directly by individuals or with the help of a temple priest. And the priests in Hindu temples may have various local or vernacular titles such as Pujari, Devaswami, Maharaja, etc. etc. Okay, so now let's look at Agamas and Tantras. Okay, we'll look at what Agamas and Tantras are. So Agamas and Tantras basically are extensive collections of knowledge and a form of major part of spiritual literature and practices. Okay, so like the Vedas, the Agamas and Tantras, they have been transmitted orally from the Guru to the Sishya. Again, a Guru Sishya Parambara is found here. Okay, so Agamic texts are categorized into three classes: Vaishnava Agamas, Saiva Agamas, and Sakta Tantras. Okay, so three categories: Agamic texts, Vaishnava Agamas, Saiva Agamas, and Sakta Tantras. So the texts related to Vaishnava and Saiva traditions are generally referred to as Agamas, while Tantra is a term often associated with Sakta text. Okay, Sakta text. However, technically, Tantra is part of Agama, and the two terms are sometimes used interchangeably due to the central role of Tantra. Okay, so Agama Shastra serves as a guide for worship rituals and the construction of temples in Hinduism. Okay, so temples in Hinduism are basically constructed based on Agama Shastra rules. So the Agama texts are considered authoritative and they hold significance in the appointment and training of temple priests. Okay, so that's the whole aspect. Fine. And then coming to the legal and historical aspects of temple priest appointment. First, let us look at the legal aspects. So Article 15 of the Constitution, we all know pretty well, it's part of the fundamental rights. So it prohibits discrimination based on religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth. Okay, so state cannot discriminate against any citizen in matters of employment or access to public places on these grounds. However, the states have the authority to regulate religious institutions and their affairs, which includes appointment of temple priests. So state legislation may prescribe qualifications, procedures, and eligibility criteria for such appointments. So this allows the state to intervene in the appointment process to ensure fairness and prevent discrimination. So these are the legal aspects. Now looking at the historical aspects. So if you see in many Hindu temples, there has been a long tradition of hereditary appointment of temple priests. Okay, so the role of priesthood is passed down within specific families or castes. Okay, and it's believed that the knowledge and expertise required to perform rituals and worships are inherent in specific families or castes and are passed down through generations. Okay, so in some regions there are also instances of open competition or selection based on qualification for appointment of temple priests. So in these cases, individuals may be chosen for the role based on their qualifications, skills, and competence rather than their hereditary lineage or caste background. Okay, so these are the legal and historical aspects of temple priest appointment. Now let's look at the Supreme Court judgments regarding the temple priest appointment in the bygone era. So if you see, first we have to take up the case study of Seshamal and others versus the state of Tamil Nadu in 1972. So the Supreme Court ruled that the appointment of an archaka is a secular function, meaning it falls under the domain of non-religious matters. So the court distinguished between secular and religious aspects, stating that agamas, that is scriptures, have significance only for the performance of religious service. So according to the judgment, any individual, regardless of caste or creed, can be appointed as an archaka as long as they were well versed and qualified in the agamas and possess the required knowledge of temple rituals. And the Supreme Court decision also held that ancestral origins based on caste should not play a role in the appointment of archakas if the selected individuals otherwise fulfills the necessary requirements. Okay, so the Madras High Court in this case used the Supreme Court's ruling to affirm that ancestry based on caste should not be considered in the appointment of archakas if the candidate meets all the qualifications. So similar principles were upheld in the Supreme Court in the case of Adityan versus Travancore Devaswam Board 2002 case. So this case also supported the stance that appointment as an archaka should be based on qualifications and knowledge of the Agamas rather than on caste or lineage. Okay, so this is about the issue regarding the appointment of temple priests in Tamil Nadu. The next news article is about the odhuvars. Okay, more women become odhuvars in Tamil temples. On Monday, HR&CE Minister P.K. Shekhar Babu handed over the appointment orders to 15 odhuvars. Among them were 5 women who were assigned to temples in the Chennai region. First and foremost, let us look at the whole concept of odhuvars. Who are these odhuvars? So odhuvars are devotional singers dedicated to Shiva temples in Tamil Nadu. Okay, so what's the role that they perform? Their role basically involves singing the sacred Devaram hymns as musical offerings to the deity as part of the structured temple worship. So odhuvars undergo rigorous training in Tirumurai texts. Tirumurai texts are sacred Tamil scriptures and Devaram music from an early age. Okay, these odhuvars, they undergo rigorous training in Tirumurai texts and Devaram music from a very early age. So what is this Devaram? Devaram is a collection of hymns that have been sung by Saivite saints since roughly the 7th and 8th centuries. And this Devaram specifically refers to the first 7 volumes of the 12-volume collection Tirumurai, which is a Shaiva narrative containing epic and Puranic heroes along with hagiographic accounts of early Saiva saints expressed in devotional poetry. Okay, so the Devaram volumes contain the works of 3 most prominent Shaiva Tamil poets of the 7th and 8th centuries. They are Sambandar, Appar and Sundarar. Okay, so the appointment of more women as odhuvars in Tamil Nadu signifies an increasing recognition of their contribution and participation in devotion and cultural heritage of the state. Now you would have got an idea who these odhuvars are, what their role is, and how important it is for women to become odhuvars. Okay, you would have got an idea now. Now let us look at the areas to cover relating to this topic. Okay, allied areas to look into. First and foremost, we'll have to look at the emergence of religious movement in South India. You have to concentrate on that. What I mean by emergence of religious movements in South India, you have to look at the rise and development of various religious movements and schools of thought in southern part of India. Okay, so try to understand the new religious groups that formed here, the Sikhs, traditions, the reinterpretation of existing religious practices. So all this basically contributed to the religious, social and cultural landscape of South India. Now look at the Alvar saints. So who are these Alvar saints? They were Tamil poet saints who lived between the 6th and 9th century CE. So these Alvars were devotees of Lord Vishnu's and they composed hymns known as Divya Prabandham. Okay, so this was an important and an integral part of Tamil Vaishnavite tradition. Divya Prabandham composed by Alvars were an important part of Tamil Vaishnavite tradition. The Alvar saints played a crucial role in the expression and spread of Bhakti tradition in South India. Okay, then you have to concentrate on the Nayanar saints. So Nayanar saints, you know pretty well, they were devotees of Lord Shiva. They lived between the 5th and 10th century CE. So they were eminent poet saints. They composed Devaram. Okay, so through this Devaram they expressed their love and devotion to Lord Shiva. Okay, so these saints played an important role with regard to the spread of Shaivism. Then talk about the Acharyas of South India. So if you talk about the Acharyas of South India, Acharyas were basically revered spiritual teachers, okay, who played a prominent role in shaping and disseminating religious, philosophical and cultural teachings in South India. For example, Madhavacharya, Ramanujacharya, Shankaracharya, all these people you have to concentrate on. Okay, so they are regarded as authoritative figures in their respective traditions, and they have established lineages of discipleship. Okay, discipleship. Okay, and then talk about the Hindu philosophical schools as well. Okay, discuss about them, study about them when you come across this topic. Hindu philosophical school refers to diverse systems of thought and philosophical traditions that have emerged within Hinduism. For example, you have Advaita Vedanta, Dvaita Vedanta, Nyaya philosophy, Vaisheshika philosophy, Samkhya, Yoga, and Mimamsa philosophy. These are the things that you have to concentrate on. And then throw light on some Bhakti literature. For example, poems, hymns, songs that were composed by famous Bhakti saints. Okay, then you also have to look into Bhakti traditions in various parts of India. Okay, so devotional movements that sprang up in other parts of India like Vaishnavism, Shaivism, Shaktism. Okay, North India, what were the various systems, Bhakti movements that emerged? You have to look into that. And other religious movements also you're supposed to look into, like the Lingayat movement in Karnataka, Veerashaiva movement, like that. Okay, all these movements you have to study for something related to what we have seen here. Okay, now it's now time for us to basically look at some of the model questions. So here's the first question. The world's second tallest statue in sitting pose of Ramanuja was inaugurated by the Prime Minister of India at Hyderabad recently. Which one of the following statements correctly represent the teachings of Ramanuja? The best means of salvation was devotion. Vedas are eternal, self-existent and wholly authoritative. Logical arguments were meant for the highest bliss. Salvation was to be obtained through meditation. Okay, so the answer is, you know pretty well, it's already highlighted. The best means of salvation was devotion. This was already asked in the 2022 prelims examination. Okay, so this Ramanuja was a renowned philosopher, a social reformer, and he emphasized the path of devotion, that is Bhakti, as the best means to attain salvation. So Ramanuja believed that true devotion and surrender to the divine were crucial in achieving union with the divine. This union with the divine was only known as moksha or liberation. Okay, so Ramanuja's teachings emphasize the importance of love, reverence, and unwavering devotion towards a personal form of God in order to attain spiritual enlightenment and ultimate liberation. Okay, so that's how you answer the first question. Second one, which of the following statements are correct about the attitudes of Alvars and Nayanas towards caste system? Alvars and Nayanas initiated a movement of protest against caste system and the dominance of Brahmanas, or at least attempted to reform the system. Second statement is Alvars and Nayanars always supported the caste system in the society. The third statement is the importance of traditions of the Alvars and Nayanars was sometimes indicated by the claim that their compositions were as important as the Vedas. So we have to now find out which statement is correct. The correct answer is statement number C. Okay, 1 and 3, first and third statements are correct. So let me explain this. Alvars and Nayanars initiated a movement of protest against the caste system and the dominance of Brahmins, or at least attempted to reform the system. Okay, so Alvars and Nayanars always supported the caste system in the society. Okay, so this always supported the caste system in the society is contradictory statement. Okay, so that's basically wrong. Okay, so the importance of traditions of the Alvars and Nayanas was sometimes indicated by the claim that their compositions were important as the Vedas. That's a correct statement. Okay, so this is another type of question that can be asked. The next one, Saivite Nayanmars and Vaishnavite Alvars preached Bhakti cult under which of the following rulers? So the correct answer for this question is they preached it under Pallavas, Pandyas and Cholas. Okay, especially they were someone who had their influence in Tamil Nadu. So Pallavas, Pandyas and Cholas were the predominant rulers in Tamil Nadu during their period. So they preached during the reign of those rulers. Okay, and then in Tamil Nadu the movement started with dash and dash. Okay, so it's pretty simple. In Tamil Nadu the movement started with Saiva Nayanars and Vaishnava Alvars. Okay, so they were called the pioneers of the Bhakti movement. So if you see, in Tamil Nadu, movement was started by Vaishnava saints, the Alvars, and Saiva saints, Nayanars. The Alvars emphasized on Bhakti and gave reference to Bhagavata Puranas. That's why they were known as pioneers of Bhakti movement. Similar thing can be said of the Saiva saints as well. Okay, so these kind of questions can be expected in the exam. Okay, so with this we are closing the discussion for the day. So we run a current affairs session in the weekends. So for up-to-date knowledge on the current developments, you can join our weekend sessions. So we have Optima cards as well. So basically you can access the Optima cards by contacting the number that was found in the bottom of the Optima cards that were presented on the screen. So for more such videos, like and subscribe to our channel. Hope you had a great time. Thank you.